What turns a quiet girl into the spark that sets an entire school on fire? Not magic, not rebellion, just the slow weight of injustice pressing down until she can't stay silent anymore. Before anyone whispered the word Moxie, Vivian Carter was the kind of girl who blended into hallways like wallpaper. A girl who believed that keeping her head down kept her safe. But safety doesn't last long in a place where girls are ranked like objects, where a star athlete can spit in a new girl's drink and walk away smiling, and where the principal thinks ignore it is an acceptable response to harassment. Long before Vivian ever thought of stapling together a revolution, Lucy Hernandez walked into class with her chin high and refused to play small. One argument about a summer reading list was all it took for trouble to find her, and for someone like Mitchell to make her a target. Vivian watched it happen, the dismissal, the smirk, the injustice. And something small cracked open inside her. But this story doesn't begin in a classroom. It begins in a bedroom drawer, where dusty old zines from the 90s waited like forgotten sparks. Her mother's handwriting, bold and angry, practically leapt off the pages. Those stapled pieces of paper weren't just memories, they were blueprints. Vivian didn't know it yet, but opening that drawer was her first step toward becoming someone she never thought she could be. Suddenly, whispers began floating through the school bathrooms. Anonymous pages appeared like ghosts in the night, calling out the lists, the dress code attacks, the way boys got away with everything. No one knew who wrote the zine, but everyone felt the shift. Athletes, theater kids, girls who'd been silent their whole lives. They all started waking up. Some joined loudly, some joined quietly, some were terrified. But they joined. Somewhere in between the chaos, Vivian's world grew softer too. Seth Acosta noticed the fire in her eyes, even when she tried to hide it. Their sweet, careful connection became the one place she didn't need a mask. But fire has a way of burning even the things we love. Claudia, her best friend, didn't have the luxury of rebellion the way Vivian did. And when Claudia suffered for a protest she barely participated in, the distance between them stretched like a wound. Vivian kept pushing forward anyway, even as guilt dragged behind her like a shadow she pretended not to see. And still, the real storm hadn't arrived yet. One day, an anonymous note landed in the Moxie box, a confession swallowed for a year by fear. A girl had been assaulted by Mitchell. Suddenly, everything that had felt wrong now felt unbearable. The secret burned in Vivian's chest until she nearly broke under the weight of carrying it alone. But the truth wasn't hers to reveal. It belonged to Emma, the former head cheerleader who had spent months pretending to be untouched, unbroken. When she finally stepped forward, shaking but brave, the entire school felt the ground shift beneath them. Vivian could no longer hide behind anonymity. She stepped into the open, voice trembling, admitting she was the one behind Moxie. And just like that, what began as folded paper and angry ink became a roar. Students poured into the courtyard in a walkout that no teacher could stop. Emma spoke. Mitchell's mask shattered. The administration finally faced the truth they had ignored for too long. Vivian didn't win alone. She apologized to Claudia, found her mother waiting with understanding rather than anger, and held on to Seth's steady reassurance. When the dust settled, Moxie was no longer just Vivian's secret project. It had become a home for every girl who'd ever been silenced. And in that moment, the quiet girl who once blended into the walls finally saw who she had become. Not a troublemaker, not a rebel, but someone who turned pain into power. Someone the school could no longer ignore.